All right. Good evening, guys. Our next little video we're going to make here is I'm going to give a tutorial on how I make a Federal Signal Model 17 beacon emergency light for my model cars. I'm going to give you a quick rundown on the items that I use. I will say there is some small dangers to this. As you see, there's a very ominous looking saw involved in this. There is a diamond cutting wheel involved in this for cutting glass. So be safe. I will try to videotape or record what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, but some of it I won't be able to because some of it you have to do kind of up close, but we'll give it a shot. But anyway, some of the items, believe it or not, that we use for this. You see I have a whole little packet of light bulbs here. And these bulbs are, I don't know if it's going to show up or not. Let me get up here. This bulb is a number, where'd it go? C194, okay? And you see the nice round dome on it. This bulb is designed to go into a dashboard of an automobile. I don't know if it's something that's modern, something that's current, or these are for older vehicles. I don't know. But that is what it's actually designed for. A C194. You can buy these online at Amazon in bulk. You can buy them in little packs of 10 for about $1 a piece. You can find them in a 2-pack at, say, AutoZone. In the ones at AutoZone, actually, you can buy clear, you can buy red, you can buy orange, you can buy blue. But I would suggest if you attempt this, don't buy the colored ones, because as the process goes on, when we're actually grinding this light bulb to the correct height that we want, that color wears off. So you wind up painting them anyway. So again, you can still use them. They're all the same, but you want the C194 bulb. And then you'll notice, I don't know if it will pick up or not, some of the bulbs are of a better blown consistency, I guess, and they make for a better looking dome. So I just try to pick through and get the best ones. So we're going to start with this one. And then some items that I use for my bases. Now, when I actually sold these through my Facebook page, David Parsley Custom Scale Emergency Lights, I offered a short base version, and I offered the normal, tall base version. And what these two items are: the tall base, believe it or not, is an orange wire nut, okay? I think most people know what a wire nut is and what their purpose in life is. This is the brand that I buy. NSI Industries Easy Twist Wire Connectors. Critical. The critical thing about this is you must buy the orange ones. The other colors are either too large or too small. So I buy these in boxes of 100. I've already went through a whole box since last year when I was actually selling. I couldn't make these things fast enough. All right, so believe it or not, we take a wire nut and we turn it into this. Here's the underside of the wire nut, as you can see. That's exactly what it is, okay? Now to get here, you need to remove the ribbed portion of the wire nut. All you want to be left with is the smooth surface. That's where your gargantuan medieval looking saw blade comes into play. What I generally would do is take a pair of wire cutters and I would crimp it inside the ribs. And then you take your saw blade and your Dremel tool and just cut right above the ribs, as close as you can, all the way around. Once that's removed, you'll have to pull the threaded insert out of the inside. And then I would start working on sanding the top of it flat. Now, the standard base that I would use for, let's say, like a 174 beacon ray, which is the one with the 4 bulbs in it, would be 300 thousandths. That's where I would go. So you can see, not too much sanding involved in it. Once you start doing it, you get a good feel of where you want to be. Okay, this one's close. This one's 293 thousandths. And then pretty consistent all the way around, okay? And then this one was actually hit with a Molotov pen. Chrome it, let it set for 3 or 4 days. You have your chrome base. Okay. Now for the short base, let me move some of this out of the way. For the short base that we're actually going to do tonight for the Model 17, these are what is known as a ferrule. I buy these at a plumbing supply store. This is a 3/8 ferrule. I'm not sure, I'm not a plumber. Has something to do with water lines and how they fit together or something. I really don't know. Most of you out there might know. But again, I literally took 10 years to figure out this entire process. So I'm giving you guys this information hopefully within 30 minutes or less. But when we make the short base, I buy these nylon washers from Lowe's. They're in the hardware section, located in the pull-out drawers that are in any and every Lowe's. They come in a little pack. There's usually 10 to a pack. I think for the 10, I pay like 89 cents for a pack of them. Don't know. I think they go by a number rating, and I believe these were a number 8. But this measures 380 thousandths. Okay? That's the outside diameter, 380 thousandths. So, if you recall, I said this was a 3/8 ferrule. A 3/8 ferrule is 375 thousandths. Okay, that's the decimal equivalent of 3/8 of an inch is 0.375. So what I do with these is I will take 2 of these. I would generally add just a drop or 2 of super glue on the inside, set it on the table, and pop it in. Okay, you have a nice flush fit. Then we do the same for the top. You snap it in. Because the washer is 5 thousandths bigger than the ferrule, that gives you the nice fit, okay? I just pushed it in. As long as you don't have them super glued in, just pop it back in. But the reason we do that is when we go and chrome them, now we have a place for our bulbs to set. Then when we put the dome on, we have a place for the dome to set. But we'll get into more of that here in just a second. But that's the items I use to make the short base of a Model 17 beacon ray. All right, so let me go ahead and get myself set up to cut this bulb, and I will try to demonstrate that and let you guys see that process. We'll be right back. All right, here we are back. Masking tape. Now, when I apply my masking tape, I only use a piece about 1 inch long, and I try to place it on the bulb to where it just covers up the stamping of the bulb size, okay? This helps in reducing the grass cracking, splintering, whatever, but we need to remove this whole section. So what we're gonna do, use our Dremel tool with the diamond wheel in it. So it's very flexible, okay? But we're going to run this around this glass bulb, and we're not going to put any pressure on it whatsoever. We're just going to let the cutter do the work. Done. Wrong way, sorry. Okay. Voila, we've cut our glass, okay? You are now a glass cutter. As you can see here, we do have a little splintering, okay, but no big deal because we still need to take this and hand grind it down to our final size. So I remove the tape, plus the tape gives us something kind of handy to hold on to as we're grinding that bulb into 2 pieces. Okay, take this tape, pick up your little shards, whatever, hit it on the tape, you just throw it away. This is now garbage as well. Now, let me get rid of some of my materials. Okay, so now we have the making of our dome. Okay, still out of scale, too large. The bottom of it's not right. So you got a couple of options. You can go back to your diamond wheel, turn it on low, just barely touch it. Even that out a little bit. You even out your bottom, okay? Now the next step that we need to take, and this is probably where most people will struggle with making this item. Hold on. All right, guys, sorry about that. My wife poked her head in. I had to go downstairs. Our one-year-old grandson has finally learned how to walk, and he's really got the knack for it now. So had to go down there and see that. All right. Back where we were, I think a lot of where the struggles will come in for people with this is this item right here. This is what's known as a grinding stone, a wet rock so to speak. I obtained this from the years when I was a machinist. This would actually load up into a tool, and we would run this across on a surface grinder. There was a series of these, and they would spin rather quickly. And then when they got down to a certain diameter, a certain thickness, I should say, we had to replace them because they wouldn't fit in the machine anymore. And they would basically throw these in the trash. And I've had this one for probably close to 12 years now. I don't really think, let me see here. I don't really think it's really too much different than your typical sharpening stone. I was able to pick this one up for $3 at a flea market. It's got pretty much the same texture. This one, though, was meant for a CNC machine and a surface grinder. This one, basically, you would use to sharpen knives or whatever with, but I don't see why it wouldn't work. I haven't tried it yet because I still have some room left on this. I don't know if you can see really how concave this is. It was flat at one point, but it does disintegrate as you use it. But anyway, we'll go ahead and I'll show you what my next process in this making of this light is. So our secret ingredient that we use, water. This has to be wet. You have to get this wet. This is just regular old polishing cloth that I've had for years. I just keep this on it all the time. So I hope I'm capturing this good enough. We're going to get a baseline idea where we're at. So here's our dial caliper, 0, 0. Just get a general ideal. Okay, you want this to be flat naturally. So you see we have a little curve right there. So right now we are about 374 thousandths. So we need to take this down to 225, anywhere from 225 to 200. Okay. So I'll explain a little bit more of that in detail when we get there. So the first thing we do, stick it on your stone, grab it. You will grind some of your fingernails away, but don't worry, they grow back. And real light, real gentle, you start running this around the stone. And as you're going around on the stone, I am actually twisting the bulb as I go around. That's why the reason why I stop when I no longer have a good contact point with it, as I'm trying to spin it around, and that I don't want it to spin out of my hand. Now I can be somewhat aggressive with this, but you don't want to put a lot of pressure on it, because obviously it is glass, and we all know glass breaks, glass shatters, and you're doing it with your bare fingers. I have tried this with gloves on. I personally can't do it. I feel like I need to feel what I'm working on with my fingers. But you have to just be gentle. And the more you do it, the better you'll get at it. But we will grind this down to our correct height. We'll stop here in just a second, check our progress. So always keep a bowl of water here. Just take this, give it a quick rinse. Let's see where we're at. Okay, we are already down to 346 thousandths. So we've took 30 thousandths off of it just that quick. Now we want to check for parallel as well. You can see we're high on this side because the bulb looks like it's leaning. So I want to capture that high side, put it right on the edge, hold it, and just go back and forth with it. We're only grinding down the high side of the piece of glass now. Okay. We'll take it, put it in our water, give it a quick rinse. Let's check our progress again. Okay. We're getting there. Still a little high on this side. Just back and forth, back and forth. Guys, I have literally done this probably 500 times, I guess. And this is no lie, I have only ever broke one bulb in the entire time I've been making these. And I made these for sale for about 3 years, and I made them for probably close to 7 or 8 years just for my own models prior to that. So it's the high point of modeling. I believe that if there's something you want to do and there's nothing else available, then you sit down and you let your willpower and your drive to want to do something to work. I mean, you actually, you know, like I said, it literally took me 10 years to figure out this process. All the components I needed to make this look correct as a finished product. And there's nothing else out there in the aftermarket that even resembles one of these. There's definitely not anything out there that is available with a dome that is actually made of glass. But this is a process that I enjoy doing because it's just another aspect of modeling, and it's an aspect that will make your emergency vehicles stand out from the rest of the guys. Okay, so here we go. We're getting close. We're still got a little angle to it. Our overall height right now is 325 thousandths. Okay, so we're shooting for what I say, 325 to 300, something like that. We can even go down as far as 285. I think earlier I misspoke and said 280, but we'll try to grind this down and get this even. And then you can tell the more I do it, the smoother the bottom of the glass gets, so the less grabbing it does on the stone. All right, again, our water. Rinse off the grit. 320 thousandths. Okay. Alrighty. It's key that you continually check your progress so your dome winds up being flat. You don't want it ground down at an angle. You want it to look correct. All right, so right now we are at 315 thousandths. as far as our height. I think I want to take that down a little more, because this is a Model 17, and the Model 17 had a slightly smaller dome on it than the later model Beacon Rays did. The 173s, the 174s, the hill lights, they had a larger and taller dome on them. So we'll check it real quick. We were down to 305, 6, 7, 308 thousandths. We're gonna call that good right there. Okay. So we'll dry this off. Set that aside. We're going to seal our water up. And then my trusty little grinding stone, it gets folded back up and sit over here next to my bench, where it's been for several years. Let's wipe up our excess water. Sometimes I will take paper towel, Q-tip, just rinse the inside of this off, or you can soak it in alcohol. Alcohol is really good to clean the glass with. What I use, 91%. That's what I use for my thinners for all my Tamiya clear paints. And what I do with it, there it is. Just take it, we'll drop it in there. Just let that set for a little bit while we talk about making the inside of it. We'll actually make the guts now for our light. Okay, for the Model 17, you can see I've used this many times. I already have it marked. 3/16 polystyrene tube from Evergreen Models. Just bring out a short piece. Now we know the inside, you want to cover a lot of this washer. So I got 200 thousandths right there. So we're going to make this 200 thousandths. It's very easy. You lock this into place, okay? So it won't move on you. This end of the dial caliper is called the depth gauge. So if you take your styrene, butt it right up against it, put your knife at the back edge of this, okay? And we'll just roll it a few times. And we cut through. Now this is all subjective to personal taste, personal choice. I don't work off any actual dimensions. I'm a modeler. I use, you know, the modeler's eye, so to speak. If it's off a little, it's off a little. We're not gonna cry and start all over. So right now we're at 225 thousandths. And that goes on our base pretty decent. Okay, so now we have to check the inside dimension of our dome. So we need to get in here and fish this piece of glass out. There we go. We'll take a Q-tip, dry this out a little bit. Let's see. I am all out of paper towels right now, so I'm just using some good old American ingenuity and using toilet paper. All right, so our glass dome. The inside diameter of our glass dome is 329 thousandths. Okay, so we know this tube will fit. Whoops. Now we need to make our lenses for it. So I'll be right back when I get those pieces. All right, guys. Now we're going to use our bulbs to make this. This is a whole pack of beads I bought from Hobby Lobby. You can see the price right here, $14.99 for all these bad boys. And I actually have 2 boxes of these. So the way these are laid out, these are 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 millimeters. So what I use the most, you can see right here, is the 5. I use those on the 174 beacon rays, pretty much everything. But for the Model 17, we are going to use 2 4mm fashion jewels. Okay? Seal that up, set that aside. Now, in order to do this, you can see this little fashion jewel has a chrome side and a side that has a facet on it, which is round, and it's got the little diamond cuts in it. This is the side that we want to put inside our tube. So take our knife, run it on the inside, shave off any burr you might have. Just real easy, nothing critical. I'm going to take some super glue, and I'm going to put just a drop on the inside, just a drop. I hope I'm not doing this to where you guys can't see. I'm going to take this piece of tubing and set it right over that fashion jewel, okay? We're going to smash it on there. Could probably, yeah, let me do that. I could open this up a little bit more so this will fit just a hair better. Okay, I believe that's good. Let's give it a quick test fit. Perfect. Okay. I'm going to put just a hair more super glue in there. Turn that over. Stick it on there, okay? Doesn't have to be perfect right now. We're going to do the other side the same way. 1 drop of super glue. Put your other fashion jewel in it. Now, take your dial caliper, okay, the meaty portion. You stick it in there. Okay, squeeze it together. Okay, that in itself is clamping it together. All right, so this needs to set up and dry maybe 30 minutes or so. Make sure the super glue is nice and set. But for the purpose of our demonstration, we're going to go ahead and see if I can go ahead and get this done. I have a fine sanding stick. We're going to take our soup can, as a lot of people would refer to these as, inside that light, and we're just going to work it back and forth. And we are attempting to remove the chrome off of that fashion jewel. Okay. Just like such. You get a little piece that's stubborn, it scrapes right off with your knife too. Okay. So as you can see, I hope you can tell, it looks like we have an actual clear lens in that now. So now we'll move on to the other side. Stick it on there, hold it as square as you can. There you go. Now we have clear bulbs in our soup can for our beacon light. It's real easy to assemble from here. I'll just take my soup can, the good old American tester's glue, just add a little bit to the bottom of it. It doesn't have to be a lot. You can actually use Tamiya clear paint to attach this, but we will set it on our base. Get it as centered as you possibly can, so it looks right. And there's that. We'll take a little bit of Tamiya extra thin, touch it, and you let that set. Now I would normally let this set up for at least 2 hours, because what you ultimately want to do, if you want your dome to be red, you want to chrome the outside of your piece of tubing here, but you do not want to chrome your lenses that you just made. So let's go ahead and old toothbrush, I have filed down. See, it's magic. It just fits that bulb piece of glass perfectly. You got two choices: clear red from Tamiya, or clear blue, or clear orange, clear yellow, the clear green, whatever color you want. Whatever color you want your light to be is what you can do. Or the good old American standby, the Sharpie. Okay, Sharpie works just as well. We can color this. I have actually made what's known as a split dome beacon ray in the past, where half of it's one color, half of it's the other. But for our little tutorial here, we will only do half of this red, and we'll leave the other half clear. Okay. All right, so there we got our bulb good enough for now. We'll let that set up and dry. And then I'll give this a few more minutes to set up and seat, and then we will hit it with some Molotov, and then we'll be back for our final assembly. Okay guys, we're back from the magic of time. As you can see, we have our soup can now chromed. I kept it off our bulbs, so to speak. Our dome is somewhat dry. Again, I would normally paint these, but for this tutorial, I'm just going to use the half the red Sharpie on it. All right, now we're going to glue this together. Tamiya clear paint. And you just put a little dab or two around it. And then you're going to place it on top of your base. Pull it over this way so I can see a little bit better. Center it the best you can. Give it just a little push, a little pressure to hold it in place. I'll let that set up just for a minute. Let me get my brush cleaned out. The Tamiya clear paint will dry absolutely clear. You will not see it. And it holds really well, but it doesn't hold with the pressure of a super glue or really any other kind of glue, because it's not a glue, it's a paint, and it just paint dries. And it allows you the ability to, in the future, remove that bulb with just a slight little twist and a tug, and it breaks right apart. So we're going to see if we can't bring this over here. I'm going to try to move my camera around now so we can get a better view of this on our model. All right, so take our light. Of course, you know, the matter of timing, you need to let this dry, whatever. But there we go. We have a Model 17 beacon ray, 2 beams in the old soup can that's inside of it. And like I said, you can do colored domes. If you choose to do a clear dome with the bulbs colored red on one side, clear on the other, this gives you the option to do that. But being a Model 17, I will probably do this one in red. I'll take this dome back off, drop it in some of the 91% alcohol, get rid of the Sharpie, and then put it back on my paintbrush and actually paint it to me a red. And this is your result. You have what looks like an actual Federal beacon ray for your 125 scale model, which looks much better than anything you will ever get in a kit. It looks realistic. It adds that extra bit of dimension to your model that makes your model stand out from everybody else's. Again, the 174 that I made for my 68 American La France was made in the same fashion. Only the bulbs on the inside are 5mm fashion jewels instead of 4. And they are glued together, chrome side out, with one piece of a 100,000th piece of styrene rod that is cut about 80 thousandths long. That's a complete separate video. We will get to that in the future. But the process is still the same. You know, you still have the 125 scale federal beacon ray that was never offered in model kit form as this. The closest thing that's ever been produced was the beacon ray that came in the old Johan police car kits, which are long out of production, which are, you know, harder to find now than hen's teeth. So this is a great option. It's a great way to enhance your scratch building skills. It is a fantastic way to learn scratch building and use your mind, make your mind and your hands work together to achieve something that you're seeing in your mind to make it visually come to life, so to speak. As I said, it took me 10 years to perfect this. And when I was actually selling them, I couldn't make them fast enough. But then my modeling suffered, and I am a modeler at heart. I'm not never really wanted to make any money off of this. So I thought, you know what, I will share this with the community, with whoever wants to know. I hope I've explained it enough. Please, once I get the video posted, if you have any questions, comments, let me know. Just reach out. I'll be more than willing to help anybody that wants to try to achieve this. But there is legwork involved in it. I mean, you do have to go out and, you know, source your short bases. You have to find those. You have to get the correct wire nuts for the tall base, and you just have to put it all together. It's not going to happen overnight. Just like, you know, any scratch build project, you start with an ideal, you sit down, you work on it. If it doesn't come out how you envisioned it, start all over. Don't be afraid to say, you know what, that looks like crap. I can do better. I'm going to start all over. And that's how you learn. That's how we improve, and that's why we build models, is to improve and make the next one better than the last. I've never built the perfect model. I doubt I will ever build a perfect model. All my models have something wrong on them that I should have done differently or could have done better. But that's what my motivation is, to keep going. Just like this, you know, little emergency light. My father was a deputy sheriff when I was born. I just grew up around police cars my entire life till the time I was 18 years old, when I went into the military, and I was just always enamored by them. And when I built models, you know, I always wanted to build cars like what my dad drove, but you couldn't find, you know, the lights. The lights just didn't look right. So I sat out to do this, and I feel accomplished that I have done this, and I feel like it's a very good looking component to my emergency builds. It adds that sense of realism, I guess you could call it, and it's much different than anything you'll find from the kit aftermarket. All right. So thank you for watching. Again, if you any questions, please comment. Hit me up through Messenger on Facebook. I'm always available. I'm always willing to give out help, advice, information, whatever I can to help somebody improve on their modeling. Okay. So again, thank you for watching. If you like what you've seen, like, subscribe, and look forward to some future videos. I'm going to put up another one here shortly of my progress on my 53. It's been a rough week at work, so I haven't really had a whole lot of time to make any videos, but I did do some work on it, and we will show that in our next video. All right, thank you for watching.